Welcome to the deep dive. We're tackling a really crucial topic today, sparked by the fascinating material you shared on the future of mindfulness, specifically in the tech industry. It feels like we're at this critical intersection.
Absolutely. What immediately jumps out from your sources is this real push and pull. On one side, you have this incredible engine of tech innovation just constantly driving forward. But then on the other side, there's this growing awareness of the human cost,
Right.
the potential for that relentless pace to really impact our well-being, leading to significant stress and, yeah, the very real issue of burnout.
Exactly. And to really frame why this is such a big conversation right now, your sources highlight the global market for mindfulness. It was valued at what, $5.3 billion as
Yep.
of April 2025.
Yeah, staggering, isn't it?
And projected to grow over 10% annually through 2030. That kind of money really signals this isn't just like a fleeting trend.
No, definitely not.
It feels more like a fundamental shift in how we're thinking about our mental states, especially in these high-demand sectors like tech. It's not just individuals looking for a bit of calm anymore.
That's a great point. It suggests a much broader recognition, doesn't it, that mental well-being is actually important for, well, sustained productivity, for innovation,
Right.
precisely. So as we delve into your sources, our aim is to really get a handle on how mindfulness is becoming this essential element, for forging a more sustainable, more balanced relationship with technology, especially within that intense tech world environment.
And we're looking at concrete examples here, not just ideas.
Exactly. Your material is packed with them. How the industry, how people in the industry are actively facing these challenges, looking for real solutions.
Okay, so let's dive into that reality. You mentioned this apparent mental health crisis brewing in tech. The sheer weight of the data seems, well, pretty stark.
It is that 2024 blind survey statistic,
Yeah.
where 57% of tech professionals reported burnout.
Over half. Wow.
Yeah. And long working hours, cited as a major factor by, what was it, 62% of them?
62%.
That paints a powerful picture, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It suggests an industry where the intense demands are really, really taking a toll.
And it's not just an occasional crunch week, is it? Your sources mention 50, even 60-hour work weeks becoming almost normal.
Almost the expectation, yeah.
And then you add in the constant connectivity, the emails, the Slack pings, the notifications, just that pressure to always be on.
Oh, absolutely. Just thinking about it is exhausting.
Right.
And it's not just a feeling. That 2023 study, I think, is in the Journal of Occupational Health Psychology. It found stress levels among tech professionals are actually 30% higher compared to other sectors.
30% higher.
Yeah. And when you think about the implications that sustained high stress, it has real consequences for individuals, obviously, but also for the whole industry's productivity, its innovation pipeline.
And the WHO, the World Health Organization, stepping in 2024 to classify burnout as an actual occupational phenomenon, that really underlines how serious this is, doesn't it?
It really does. It legitimizes it. It's not just feeling tired. It's a specific syndrome. Exhaustion, cynicism about your work, feeling less effective.
And those are the exact things we hear about from people in tech.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you layer on the 2023 Mental Health America survey findings. Nearly half of tech workers with anxiety symptoms, over a third experiencing depression.
These aren't small numbers.
Not at all. They point to a really significant widespread challenge.
It becomes so much more tangible when you read personal stories, like Sarah's, the 32-year-old software engineer you mentioned. Her experience glued to the laptop, constantly checking Slack, feeling her focus just erode, that overwhelming exhaustion. It really puts a face on the stats.
Absolutely. Her story just brings those broader trends right down to the individual level. And this is exactly where mindfulness emerges as a really compelling potential solution, a way to maybe interrupt that cycle, restore some balance.
Okay, so mindfulness is a potential way forward. Let's explore these proven benefits your sources talk about. It's fascinating, isn't it, this ancient practice, finding so much relevance in such a cutting-edge industry like tech.
It really is. And what's interesting is how that simple act, just bringing your attention to the present moment, can have such, significant measurable effects.
Yeah.
Take stress reduction, burnout prevention, that big 2022 meta-analysis.
Yeah, the one in JAMA Internal Medicine.
That's the one. It showed a substantial reduction around 30% in stress, 28% in anxiety with mindfulness interventions. That's powerful evidence.
And it's not just feeling calmer subjectively, right? There's actual physiology involved.
Exactly. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system, helps regulate the body's stress response,
Mm,
lowers cortisol, the stress hormone.
okay.
And that 2023 study in the Mindfulness Journal, the one focusing specifically on tech workers, that's really relevant here, it found just 10 minutes of daily meditation led to a 25% drop in perceived stress after only 4 weeks.
10 minutes a day for a 25% reduction. That's quite an impact for a small commitment.
It suggests that even small, consistent efforts can make a real difference. Yeah. Especially in that specific high-pressure context.
And Mark's story, the 40-year-old product manager, that really brings it home. Struggling with burnout, long hours, insomnia even, and finding this company mindfulness program was like hitting a reset button for him.
Yeah, his outcomes were pretty impressive. Better sleep, handling deadlines better without feeling totally overwhelmed.
That sounds transformative.
It does. It really highlights how mindfulness can help shift people from just reacting to everything to being more proactive and controlled in how they approach their work. And let's talk about another crucial thing in tech focus, productivity.
Which, let's be honest, with the constant barrage of pings and the expectation to multitask, maintaining focus feels like a superpower these days.
Totally. And that 2021 study, I think Nature of Human Behavior, it showed a 22% improvement in attention span after mindfulness training. That suggests a real potential for, well, getting an edge.
22% better attention span. How does that work neurologically?
Well, the thinking is that mindfulness practices actually strengthen the prefrontal cortex. That's the part of the brain handling executive functions, attention, planning, decision-making.
So you're essentially training your brain to resist distractions better.
Pretty much, yeah. And the 2024 APA survey backs this up, reporting a 15% increase in productivity among tech workers who practice mindfulness regularly. That translates directly into a tangible business benefit.
Right.
And that Intel case study from 2023, showing projects getting done 12% faster because people were more focused, less mentally fatigued.
12% faster? That's significant project acceleration.
It really underscores the point. It's not just about feeling better, although that's important. It's about demonstrably improving performance, too.
Okay, now something maybe less obvious. The impact on communication and collaboration, which are, fundamental for teamwork in tech.
Yeah, this is quite insightful. How mindfulness can actually boost those crucial interpersonal skills. That 2022 study, Journal of Business and Psychology, I think, showed an 18% increase in emotional regulation with mindfulness training.
Emotional regulation. So managing your reactions better.
Exactly. And being able to manage your own emotions effectively. That's directly linked to handling conflicts more constructively within a team.
Because when deadlines are tight and pressure's high, emotions definitely run high sometimes.
They sure can. And mindfulness also helps cultivate active listening, really being present, absorbing what others say, understanding different viewpoints.
That makes sense.
And then you have that 2023 McKinsey report. It linked high emotional intelligence, which mindfulness often helps develop, to tech teams being 20% more likely to deliver projects on time and on budget.
20% more likely. So there's a clear link between these individual practices and team success.
A powerful connection, yeah. It suggests the benefits really ripple outwards, impacting team dynamics and business outcomes. And finally, let's touch on job satisfaction and retention. That's always a big challenge in tech with the high turnover rates.
It is. What was that LinkedIn figure for 2024? 13.2% annual turnover?
Something like that, yeah. Which really highlights why companies need effective ways to keep their talent. And that 2023 study, Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine, finding a 27% jump in job satisfaction among employees practicing mindfulness, that offers a clear potential path.
Well, it makes intuitive sense, doesn't it? If you feel less stressed, more focused, better connected to your colleagues, your job satisfaction probably goes up.
Right. And that Glassdoor survey from 2024, where 68% of tech workers said they'd stay longer at companies with good wellness programs, including mindfulness, that sends a pretty clear signal to employers.
Definitely. It suggests investing in this stuff isn't just a nice-to-have perk anymore.
No, it's becoming a strategic imperative, crucial for attracting and keeping the best people in a really competitive market.
So the evidence seems pretty compelling. Now, let's look at how tech companies themselves are actually integrating this. It's fascinating to see them not just recognizing the benefits, but actively weaving mindfulness into their cultures. Google really stands out as an early mover here.
Yeah, what's really notable about Google is how early they got started and the scale of their investment. That Search Inside Yourself program, SIY, they launched it way back in 2007.
Wow, 2007.
And they've trained over 50,000 employees by 2024. That shows a serious long-term belief in this.
And it combines meditation, mindfulness, even neuroscience insights. Sounds really comprehensive.
It is. Plus, they offer things like on-site meditation and yoga classes,
Hmm.
dedicated mindfulness rooms. They're making it accessible.
They're investing significantly in making it convenient for employees.
Right. And their own internal report from 2023 showed real results. 32% stress reduction reported by employees, 19% higher job satisfaction, even a 15% boost in creative output among participants.
That boost in creativity is interesting.
Isn't it? And that quote from a Google spokesperson linking mindfulness directly to innovation, it reframes it. It's not just stress relief. It's actually seen as fueling creativity and problem solving.
Okay, now Apple. They're known for design, user experience. How are they approaching it?
Well, given Apple's whole philosophy, it kind of makes sense they'd approach mindfulness through that lens too, both for their employees and their customers. Their Mindful Moments program on Apple Fitness Plus is one angle, offering easy access.
Right, using their existing platforms.
Yeah. And they also have on-site workshops, more community-focused, and their employee surveys show results too, 72% feeling more focused, 65% reporting better sleep. Those are big deals in demanding jobs.
Significant benefits. But what's maybe unique about Apple is how they're building it into their products, right?
Exactly. Things like the Breathe app on the watch or screen time on the iPhone. They aren't just tacked on. They seem to reflect a conscious design choice to encourage more mindful tech interaction.
Like nudging users towards awareness.
Yeah. That quote from an Apple exec about designing products for mindful living really captures that vision. It's subtle, but potentially powerful.
Encouraging more intention in how we use tech. Okay, and then Microsoft. Their approach seems more global, maybe more partnership focused.
Yeah, what stands out with Microsoft is the global scale of their Thrive program and their partnership with Headspace,
Right, using a well-known platform.
which makes it super convenient for their huge disposed workforce. Just providing app access makes guided meditation really easy to get to.
And like Google, they're doing in-person and virtual sessions too, and even redesigning offices with focus zones.
It seems like a really multi-pronged strategy, yeah.
Yeah.
Addressing it from different angles. And their internal study from 2024 also showed positive results. 28% reduction in anxiety, 22% increase in collaboration scores among participants.
So again, benefits for both the individual and the team.
Exactly. That quote from their HR director about creating space for clarity and connection, that really speaks to the underlying goal.
It's clear these tech giants see mindfulness as more than just a fad. They're making serious investments, integrating it deeply. So looking forward, what's next? Your sources point to some really interesting, almost futuristic trends.
Yeah, this is where it gets really dynamic, I think. The direct integration of mindfulness into our tech. That seems poised for a big leap. We already see bits of it in wearables, but that startup, MindSync, developing an AI-powered wearable using biofeedback.
To detect stress in real time.
Yeah, and then offer personalized mindfulness exercises right then and there. Their white paper claimed a 35% stress reduction. Pretty compelling stuff.
Like a proactive mindfulness coach on your wrist. And what about VR meditation?
That's another fascinating area. That Stanford study you mentioned showing VR meditation led to a 40% greater stress reduction compared to traditional methods.
40% greater.
Wow, it is remarkable. The immersive nature of VR could make it more engaging, maybe lower the barrier for some people. Imagine just popping on a headset during a stressful day and being transported somewhere calm. The potential is huge.
Definitely. And then there's AI coaching. We have chatbots now, but personalized AI mindfulness coaching based on user data.
That feels like a potential game changer for scalability and effectiveness, doesn't it? Imagine AI analyzing your sleep, your heart rate, your calendar, and proactively suggesting the right mindfulness exercise at the right time.
Like that IBM Mindful AI prototype, using natural language, adapting in real time.
Yeah, and showing 30% better user engagement. That sounds incredibly promising. That example of an AI assistant suggesting a breathing exercise when it sees your schedule is packed, that's the kind of seamless, helpful integration we might see.
Almost like a proactive wellness partner built into your digital life. Beyond the tech itself, it also seems like mindfulness is becoming more of a core value within tech companies.
That's really encouraging, seeing it recognized at the top, like Salesforce appointing a chief mindfulness officer back in 2023.
That's a serious commitment.
It signals it's a priority. And that Deloitte prediction, 80% of tech companies having dedicated programs by 2030, up from around 40% now, that points to a major trend.
And you'd assume that impacts hiring and keeping people, right?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
That LinkedIn survey showing 75% of tech workers prefer companies that prioritize mental health,
Yeah.
that's a huge message to employers.
So offering these programs could become a real competitive advantage for attracting talent.
Definitely. Key differentiator. We're also seeing this growing awareness around uh, digital detox and what your sources call mindful tech design.
This idea of intentionally unplugging, it feels almost radical sometimes, but maybe necessary?
It seems increasingly recognized as necessary, yeah.
Yeah.
And you see companies experimenting Microsoft's No Email Fridays, Slack's focus hours. It shows an awareness of needing boundaries.
And the Adobe experiment, showing actual boost in creativity and stress reduction from weekly digital detox.
Right, a 20% creativity increase, 15% stress reduction. That's tangible evidence for taking breaks.
And on the design side, Android's focus mode, Instagram's break reminders. It feels like tech starting to help us manage tech.
Exactly. Building tools that give users more control, encourage more intentional use. That Pew Research finding 60% of users feeling more in control with these features suggests they're actually working for people.
It's a shift away from just maximizing engagement towards, well, well-being.
A subtle but important shift, yeah, towards more user-centric, well-being focused design. And finally, it looks like mindfulness is getting integrated into education and training too, for the next generation of tech workers.
Like in universities and boot camps. That MIT mindful coding course sounds interesting.
Doesn't it? And reporting a 25% improvement in student performance. It suggests these aren't just workplace skills, they help during learning too, equipping people early with tools to handle the pressure. Amazon doing mindfulness workshops for new hires is another great example of that proactive approach.
Okay, so the future looks bright, lots of potential, but your sources also raise some important challenges, some criticisms. It's not all smooth sailing.
That's a really crucial point to make, yeah. We need a balanced view. That Band-Aid solution critique, I think it was an HBR, it's a valid concern, is mindfulness sometimes used to paper over deeper systemic problems?
Right, like telling people to meditate more instead of fixing crushing workloads or toxic culture.
Exactly. Just saying, be more mindful
Mhm.
without addressing the root causes. And then there's this idea of mindfulness fatigue. Can you actually overwhelm people with too many wellness initiatives?
So it becomes just another chore.
Potentially. That TechCrunch survey finding 30% felt mindfulness programs were just another task. That highlights the risk.
It needs to feel authentic, genuinely supportive, not just another box to tick. And what about cultural barriers, the stigma around taking breaks?
Yeah, that Kapoor Center study, 40% feeling pressured to be always working. That's a huge cultural hurdle. Companies really need to actively destigmatize taking time for well-being, make it genuinely okay, supported from the top down.
It really sounds like success requires tackling this on multiple levels, individual support, and fixing the broader system issues. Now, shifting gears slightly, you actually did a personal experiment with this, integrating mindfulness into your own tech-heavy life. Tell us about that.
Yes, I did. To get a more first-hand feel for these ideas, I tracked things over 30 days. Being pretty immersed in the digital world myself, I wanted to see the effects directly, so I focused on daily meditation, setting clear digital detox times, taking mindful breaks during the workday, and just, keeping an eye on my screen time.
Okay, and what did you find? What were the main takeaways from that personal deep dive?
It was quite revealing, actually. I definitely noticed an improvement in my ability to focus and my self-rated stress levels.
Mm.
They dropped quite a bit, maybe from around a 6 out of 10 down to a 2, somewhere in that ballpark.
That's a significant drop.
Yeah. And I felt more productive, too. Things seemed to get done about maybe 15% faster. Just felt smoother. But the biggest takeaway for me was how crucial consistency and intention are. It wasn't about huge changes. It was about consciously weaving in those small, sustainable habits, those micro moments of mindfulness throughout the day.
That really seems to tie everything together, doesn't it? So bringing it all home, the future of mindfulness in tech looks incredibly promising, but it definitely needs that conscious effort from individuals and the companies themselves.
Absolutely. We've seen the strong evidence for the benefits,
Mm.
stress reduction, better focus, collaboration, job satisfaction. And seeing the big players like Google, Apple, Microsoft investing seriously, that says a lot about its perceived value.
And the future tech integrated wearables, AI coaching, mindful design offer some really exciting possibilities down the road.
It does. But ultimately, like your sources, stress, building that balanced, healthy relationship with technology, it really starts with each of us, with awareness and the intention to prioritize our own well-being.
So a final thought for you, our listener, as you navigate your own tech-filled day, what's maybe one small mindful practice you could try integrating right now or today? Maybe just a minute of focused breathing or intentionally putting your phone away during lunch. Think about those micro moments. Even small shifts can matter.
That's the key question, isn't it? Finding what works for you and starting small.
Well, thank you so much for guiding us through all of this. Your insights on mindfulness and tech have been invaluable. Really appreciate you sharing your expertise on such a vital topic.
My pleasure. It was a great discussion.
And thank you, our listener, for sharing your sources and joining us for this deep dive. We hope you had some useful aha moments today. We'll be back soon with more explorations into the topics that spark your curiosity.